We asked Reddit users a question and selected the best answers for you. Comments are left by different people and may contradict each other.
What is the greatest comeback to an insult you've ever heard? 1. John Pine interviewing Frank Zappa. Joe: I guess your long hair makes you a woman. FZ: I guess your wooden leg makes you a table. Answer: how does a dude named Pine have a wooden leg? What if it's mahogany or oak? Answer 2. Not even clever, but one of my favorite Zappa lines, because it's so outlandish, is may your sh came to life and kiss you on the face. 2. During World War I, Switzerland had a tiny standing army, but they were very skilled marksmen. Wilhelm II of Germany asked what 250,000 Swiss troops would do if he decided to invade with 500,000 German troops. The Swiss said, shoot twice and go home. Answer: Switzerland is actually neutral now, in part because they were such good fighters. Many European countries hired Swiss mercenaries to fight for them. At least that's what I heard in a YouTube video. 3. 18th century British radical politician John Wilkes was told in Parliament by a political opponent, Sir, I do not know whether you will die on the gallows or of the pox. Wilkes shot back with, That depends, my lord, on whether I embrace your lordship's principles or your mistress. Answer: he's basically calling dude an a-hole and saying his girl is a dirty hoe. 4. My grandparents used to bicker. My grandmother generally came out on top, as she was fire. One time, though, she was asking him to do a bunch of stuff, and he muttered, if you'd lose some weight, you could do it yourself. She fixed her gaze on him and glowered, I'm thinking of getting rid of about 200 pounds of useless fat immediately. He replied, You're going to cut off your foot. Answer: Man, nobody bickers like old married couples bicker. They've had decades to perfect their craft. Also, they know practically everything about each other, including what would really hit home. 5. When somebody is insulting me without any purpose, I just tell them, bad day, huh? I swear 90% of the people almost immediately calm down and even apologizes to me because they seriously had a bad day and they just had too much bad energy without a way to let it go. There is no need to fight back. Sometimes we need a good approach to end the argument and calm down the attacker. 6. Someone yelled out in a Walmart, I'm not ashamed of who I am. Another voice echoed back, That's your parents' job. 7. Saw a clip of a stand-up comedian the other day, and he says something along the lines of, the first time I had this, it was terrible. The first time I had this, and a woman chimes in with, You mean yesterday? Crowd laughs for a while, and while the comedian is waiting for them to calm down, you can see the gears turn in his head. Once it gets down to basically a few chuckles, he just says, Glad you remember, and the crowd just lost their mind. It was amazing. 8. I used to work with this 70-year-old woman. She was our supervisor, and one day one of the ladies who worked with us told this old lady to kiss my and the old lady replied, Where do I start? You are so fat, your crack goes all the way up your back. 9. I asked my mother why she always wears makeup despite being in her 40s. She told me she wears makeup so she doesn't look like me. Edit: I was 9. Answer: you deserved that. 10. A guy makes fun of his bald friend by rubbing his head and saying, Wow, your head is as smooth as my wife's bottom. The friend also rubs his head and says, Wow, you're right. Answer: that had to hurt. 11. I just say a random woman's name didn't love them. Only twice have I correctly named the person's mother. 12. One of my co-workers was cold calling customers, trying to get appointments to drum up business. One of them told him to go F his hand, and he responded with, I've got that penciled in for 3. I should be done by 4 if you'd like to come in for an appointment. Then the guy laughed his butt off and ended up coming in for the appointment. 13. Winston Churchill, of course. Lady Nancy Astor. Winston, if you were my husband, I'd poison your tea. Churchill. Nancy, if I were your husband, I'd drink it. Answer. One more. Winston, you are drunk, disgustingly drunk. Tomorrow I will be sober, but you will still be ugly. 14. I was the one insulted, but not the one with the comeback. I was out with a coworker and her friends, and my body and I were leaving a little too early for her sensibilities. She jokingly got up in my face and said, Smell that? Smells like vag. A guy playing at the pool table next to us stepped forward and said, I'm sorry, that must be me. I just ate. It was amazing. 15. You sure do talk a lot for never saying anything. Answer. In Mexico, we use the word Cantinflare for that. It comes from a comedian with a long career from the 30s to the 80s named Cantinflas, and that was his shtick, talking too much but never saying anything. 16. Not heard, but read. Easily the Spartans replied to Philip II of Macedon. As Philip II of Macedon was conquering Greek city-states left and right, Sparta was left alone. Philip had achieved a crushing victory, and Sparta was relatively weak and without walls. Philip sent a message to the Spartans saying, If I invade Laconia, you will be destroyed, never to rise again. The Spartans replied with one word, if. Answer. This is actually where the word laconic came from. Answer 2. Most ancient accounts make the Spartans sound like the masters of trash talk. The Persians also told them at one point their arrows would blot out of the sun, and a Spartan replied that it'd be nice to fight in the shade. Also, it's a long repeated response, but when they were told to lay down their arms, their response was Molon labe, which roughly translates to come and take them. 17. My grandpa asked my cousin, who'd had lots of partners and 2 kids at this point, if she was ever going to get married. Cousin, it's not the same nowadays. We don't buy cars without test driving them first. Grandma, yeah, but they don't let you put 100,000 miles on them either. Point goes to Granny. 18. Context. John Oliver from HBO interviews Stephen Hawking, may he rest in peace. G.O. And there may be a universe where I'm more intelligent than you. Stephen Hawking. There may even be a universe where you are funny.